And through the drifts the snowy cliffs did send a dismal sheen, nor shapes of men nor beasts we ken, the ice was all between.
Guys, we're gonna play Magic the Gathering Infinite Card Special Challenge, twice in a lifetime challenge. Tried making a practice video, it didn't work out right. The video was kind of messed up. I was playing Majesty HD with a smaller resolution and just somehow just accidentally recorded the top left-hand corner of the screen. So let's not be an idiot this time. This video is going for Magic the Gathering strat. I'm joined here by Nightbot. I might click on the chat room to the left of me, and you might stop hearing the music on the right-hand side of the screen. There's nothing wrong with your monitor, just me clicking on the chat room just to see who's here. Managed to get an amazing 20 followers last stream with 420 views. 420 blaze it. Let's try to be mature about this. This challenge is probably the hardest one I could think of. Like on the level of the Pro Tour. Giving every player a chance to play with every card, I mean like every card in Standard, just for free. You win 12 games for your second loss and receive the top reward, a copy of every card in Standard plus a sealed event token. All participants earn rewards. Click here to see the full event rewards. We strongly recommend you join and play your games as early as possible. We want to make sure everyone can track the 12 wins before the event wins. These bad boys. Of course you get cards for 2, 4, 6, 8 wins. You also get an arena event token, around 9-ish wins. Don't quote me on that. And then 11 and 2 gets you just a set of the newest set, Throne of Eldraine. Going 12-1 or 12-0 gives you all 5 of these. And isn't that a pretty golden egg? So, when a set begins, I will follow out just a couple of basic rules. Just for beginner players. It kind of works for expert players too. I like starting out with something basic. So I tested 4 decks. First off. Also, I deleted all the decks that rotated out of Standard. This is all we got. We got Force Might, Cult of Rakdos, House Demir, Azura Ascendant, and Selesnya Conclave. The rest, just all the decks that started out, you got for free, just rotated out. So they're just disappeared. I tried 4 monocolored decks. The end, I tried Mill. Mill, I got 3 in 1, somehow. The deck was garbage. You played with Merfolk's Secret Keeper. It's a junk common. Drowned Secrets. Was a major mill card. Actually, our opponents feared Drowned Secrets most of all. Ventress Gargoyle, which was hard to play. It was a new card. You had to remember to put each card in the top of your library into your graveyard. It can't attack unless you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, and it can't block unless you have 4 or more cards in hand. So if you actually had like exactly 4 counterspells in hand, and that's your entire hand, your opponent, my opponent actually was playing their best cards into my counterspells deliberately, so Ventress Gargoyle could not block. Will of Lost Thoughts. This is a standard mill card, and just try not to die card. Since this deck cannot win the first 4 turns, a strong like Goblin deck melee will crush us. Brazen Borrow. This deck had more. I just took out a couple of creatures from the deck I found on the internet. I just didn't agree with it. This deck kind of takes advantage of the 2 mill counterspells, Didn't Say Please, and Thought Collapse, which are exact duplicate cards. They counter any spell, and its controller puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So this is Road Denizen. Looks like Draft Chaff, but once again, it's a Try Not to Die card. Our opponents tried targeting this very highly, as it felt like it was a central card to our deck, but the card is actually just a common, so having our opponent's premium removal being spent on Sage Rose Denizen was just fine. And for our decks was just dirtling and just trying to draw cards, playing a Sage's Rogue Denizen into a Sage's Rogue Denizen absolutely killed the opponent. Bond of Insight I actually didn't see played more than once, and when I played it once, it was just a win more card. At 4 mana, spending your entire turn just trying to find cards seems like there wouldn't be that many chances in Standard. It seems like the opponent would just try to win. Just thankfully, we're just fighting against opponents at the very end of the event. I guess we're just dirtling around, just saying, like for example, we played against a deck that was a giant growth deck. So they're trying to a couple of creatures allow you to draw a card whenever this creature is a target of a spell or ability. And they were just trying to just target it with several giant growths to try to like OTK the opponent. It's not a good deal. Oh, my mistake. God Eternal Kefnet is a one of simply because it's not a mill card exactly. It's just a good body. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries to mill the opponent once again with Bond of Insight. Just hard for a deck that just doesn't have a tall, strong defense or targeted removal. Spending 4 mana on Jace, Wielder of Mysteries seems like impossible, but it just worked at one point. Our opponent was just dirtling too much. So I don't see how either Jace, Wielder of Mysteries works in this deck, or Sage Rose Denizen, or Merfolk's Secret Keeper. They all seem like very weak cards. So the entire mill archetype, just having not enough mill cards, seemed just difficult. There's no Traumatize that allows you to mill 20 or 25 cards from your opponent for 5 mana. There's no traps where if your opponent searches library, you remove 13 cards from the top of the deck. There's none of that. The big hitters Into the Story, which is draw 4, which did help a lot one time. Magic Mirror never actually got to play, and the list I saw had 1 Magic Mirror, and I just put in 2 Magic Mirrors because it was just too hard to see 4 Merfolk Secret Keepers in the deck. So I just cut a Merfolk Secret Keeper for a Magic Mirror. The deck builder also forgot Castle Vantress, just as a one of. But actually remembered Mystic Sanctuary, so one thing you would see, just as a set comes out, the lists you see on the internet in the very first week of a set coming out are complete garbage. They are forgetting things. They will put like I've seen people put like a Soul Ring in a vintage deck, which had almost all colored spells with very little colorless mana along with the colored spells. Like it seemed like the 1 Soul Ring was for like the 2 Planeswalkers in the deck. And I think there's people who have a list in their head, and police officers do this a lot, where someone points a squirt gun at a police officer, and the police officer's like, gun, I have to shoot them. It's not just police officers. People work the same way. They have pet cards. Cards that just remain in the top of their head. So like Island remains in the top of people's heads, and they don't like look farther down and like think like, what else can I put in my deck besides Island? It just doesn't go in their head. They're like, okay, we got the Islands in. We gotta put in the very best creature in the game. We gotta put in like a new card. Let's search for cards that have mill. This is 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 mill. And they're going down the list, and they're not. People don't actually just. I'm not going to say people don't think. People have a train of thought, and when they go down the train of thought, the train keeps moving choo-choo. That's all I'm going to say. So the deck went 3-1. We tried mono white. Mono white was fine. It went 1-1. I disagreed a lot with the list I found on the internet. I think Giant Killer is absolutely amazing. I love Radiant's Judgment, which is exactly it's white 2, cycling 2, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. This is a creature. Radiant's Judgment was a spell. Instant sorcery. Healer's Hawk looks like just a fantastic card. It's a flying man with lifelink. So the entire deck is based around this. It's based around Healer's Hawk. Turn 1 Healer's Hawk into turn 2 Giant's Pridemate, hopefully seals the game. And once you have the turn 2 Giant's Pridemate, well, maybe you can attack with Healer's Hawk and then turn 3 untap with Charming Prince. Or maybe just gain 3 life with Charming Prince to make your Pridemate even bigger. And then we have Giant's Pridemates number 5 through 7 with a Giant's Particular Pride. -2 making a Giant's Pridemate. The deck list forgot Gideon's Blackblade. I think Gideon's Blackblade is just excellent. as you can turn a creature into a lifelink creature, including a Johnny's Pridemate. So I saw a turn 1 Healer's Hawk into a turn 2 Johnny's Pridemate into turn 3 Gideon Blackblade, give lifelink to a Johnny's Pridemate. On the play, the opponent just scoops. Like turn 3, the opponent scoops on turn 2. How do you stop this? Linden the Steadfast Queen. Whenever white creature control attacks, gain 1 life. This is on top of lifelink. So if you did turn 1 Healer's Hawk into turn 2 Johnny's Pridemate into turn 3 Linden Steadfast Queen, you would immediately change a Johnny's Primate into a 4/4 from a 2/2 on turn 3. And then once damage is resolved, Johnny's Primate would turn into a 5/5. So that's insane too. Conclave Tribunal I don't like. They had a lot of 1-drops to try to make Conclave Tribunal stronger. More than 8 1-drops. So it was more like a weenie deck. But I found Gideon's Company as a card that the list completely forgot to be better than just 1-drop number 9 through 12. I know, like, I think the opponent just had like the deck submitter just had like a Selesnya feel in the deck, and just said, let's try to make like mono white Selesnya. But once again, like, you can't just keep your mind on like rares and mythics. Even if you get to play with every single card, you have to kind of think about this. And whenever you gain life, you put 2 counters on it. So it's like and there's actually a Gideon Planeswalker on here, Gideon Blackblade. So theoretically, you could like Gideon Blackblade plus into Gideon's Company, like plus Gideon into put a loyalty counter on target Planeswalker to give it 7, -6 it, and you still have a 1 loyalty Gideon Blackblade to attack with. Venerated Loxodon, once again, the original list had 12 1-drops, so Venerated Loxodon looked interesting. This is more like a 3-mana 4/4. It's amazing in this fast-paced, ultra-powered creature metagame that Magic's been in the last 10 years, that even like a 3-mana 4/4 just seems like a bad card. It's amazing that I lost, like, after top-decking a Venerated Loxodon into top-decking a Venerated Loxodon. You can still lose to some Mythic Ooze, because the Mythic Ooze, it has 2/2 creatures, it itself and a 2/2 token, and then puts a +1/+1 counter on each Ooze every single turn. Whereas Venerated Loxodon puts a counter on every single creature once, which makes it worse than a Biometric Ooze. That's kind of crazy and kind of sad. This submitter actually did remember Castle Islandale and Idyllic Range. And the 1/1 human creature tokens does work with Venerated Loxodon. If you run out of fuel, you can create an Arden Vale, excuse me, token. Then Venerated Loxodon can boost it up. Idyllic Grange. It's a plains itself, so getting multiple Idyllic Granges isn't bad. Because if you have like 4 Idyllic Ranges in a row, then 3 Idyllic Ranges untap the 4th Idyllic Range. So, cool. Puts +1/+1 counters to create target creature you control. Since we're using a lot of like Healing Hawks, like just weak bodies that just die to any single creature it blocks, having an exception to this with Idyllic Range just seems nice. It went 1/1. Alright, so what else did we try? Well, we tried Dread Presence. Once again, a list I found on the internet. They didn't have Dread Horde Invasion. I think if you're just playing black, I think this is just like an auto-include. Dread Horde Invasion. You get a creature every single turn. Well, wait, Dread Presence is a card whenever swamp enters to your control. Choose one. You draw a card, lose 1 life. You do 2 damage to your target, and you gain 2 life. So the life gain from Dread Presence counteracts the Dread Horde Invasion. I'm not sure why the deck submitter forgot this card. Legion's End was like a 4 of. I haven't just seen this card enough. Even M20, it feels like we've only had like 4 months to deal with M20 cards. We still don't know exactly the power level of these cards. I had more Orzhov Enforcers. I somehow just the common uncommon symbol just makes me think that cards are draft chaff. It's not really. Yarok's Finlurker. It seems like all the decks this week has been just running 4 of these. Is this good? I like Mind Rot better than Yarok's Finlurker. It seems like it's not that good of a card. it's better than ravenous rats, but I don't know. Like I said with the Loxodon, venerated Loxodon, there are such crazy cards out here. Like look at Yara, first of Loch Thwain. Whenever she or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, you drain for 1. So it's any black creature, including Dreadhorde Invasion tokens. So even if your opponent is killing a Dreadhorde Invasion every single turn, you get your life back with Ayara, and the drain life is pretty killer. Murderous Rider, once again, it might be like the most memorable or remembered card. This will just be like 100 copies of these in the Pro Tour, I'm sure. It's a hero's downfall, and it's a 2/3 lifelink. The lifelink matters because it undoes the life loss. And it looks like it's so powerful that R&D made it so it was put on the bottom of its owner's library, so you can't just like raise dead it to prevent people from just endlessly looping Swift Ends into Murderous Riders. The list had Clockwork Servant. I actually like this. I like it when people look at colorless cards in monocolored decks. So once again, I was going back to the police officer sort of thinking. It's like, you know, I need swamps, and now I have this card, and let's go down the list and put every single mill card down. Even in monocolored decks, there's still 2 colors to think of. There's the color of the deck, and then there's all the colorless cards. So after you spend, I don't know, 40 or 45 minutes looking through just like your box of 1,000 paper cards, just open up your little stack of 200 artifact cards and just spend 5 minutes going through them. Like, you may not add a single artifact into your deck, but just as a finishing touches, it's like, you know, maybe you need to finish idea, maybe the deck needs something more. In the old days, it used to be that white knights and black knights, like a white knight would be pro-black and a black knight would be pro-white. If you had like a mono white deck, you would just be cold to Black Knight. You'd be, oh, it's like a 2/2 unblockable creature for 2 mana. So people would put in like Brass Man in their white weenie decks to block Black Knight. This was back when Magic the Gathering was just Alpha, Beta, Revised, and Limited. Nowadays there aren't too many protection from colors creatures. There's this new Ceratops that's protection from blue. So there isn't really a need to put artifact creatures in to defend yourself from pro creatures, but I still think it's important enough to look at it. Rankle Master of Pranks looks like it's really hard to play. So you kind of have like 6 choices. You have choice A, B, and C, choice AB, choice BC, choice AC, and choice ABC. So there's six modes you have to think of. I think of Rankle as just eating up your clock a lot. I can see people, like on the Pro Tour, spending precious minutes on the clock thinking about which modes for Rankle. And actually it's kind of hard to understand. So Rankle is discard a card, then draw a card. It's not draw a card, then discard a card. And it doesn't really say on the card that it's a discard and draw and not a draw discard. But I tested it and it is. It's a discard and then draw for each player. Each player sacrifices a creature. It could mean like Rankle itself can sacrifice itself. So it could be that your opponent just plays some giant green fatty and you're at 1 life and you top deck Rankle and you can just, you know, sack Rankle and the fatty and you're still alive. It's also possible you can just use Dreadhorde Invasion with Rankle to just make each player sacrifice a creature every single turn and just have a 1/1 creature and just pay 1 life every single turn to have your opponent sacrifice a creature every turn. So I don't understand why the deck submitter didn't have any copies of Dreadhorde Invasion at all. They had 1 Liliana, 1 Ugin. I changed it to 2 Lilianas, 2 Ugins, and just took out the 1 mana cards. I just hate 1 mana cards, personally. 3 Witches' Cottages. Once again, it's a swamp, so it doesn't feel like you should have like a 1x Witch's Cottage in there. Making the Witch's Cottage a swamp means that it comes into play untapped more often than you'd think. So it isn't really a bother to have this whole cycle of lands from Eldraine in here. So this went, I don't know, I think this also went 1-1. And then we have the pet deck. And I tried Stompy. I tried going for like mono green rares. So I went straight towards the most powerful cards in the deck. Most powerful green cards in Standard. Which is Pelt Collector, I think is insane. Surferin is... I really like it. Yorvo is insane. Questing Beast is insane. Okay, these three. Questing Beast, Yorvo, and Pelt Collector all seem like completely insane cards. Like 4-0s of all three of these. And then it seems like the rest of our quest is to figure out what the rest of the deck is supposed to be.
Friends, Wall of Ice Cream has a Facebook page. Check it out and send your fan mail to Gmail or ideas for new content. And see my previous videos at Udioshlet. Not Wall of Ice Cream yet. Getting to 100 subscribers and I'll change it to Wall of Ice Cream. Or you can come play with me on PlayStation. My username is Wall of Ice Cream and see me on Twitch, Wall of Ice Cream. I might be there on Sundays. Thanks for watching.